Okay, looks like we're live. Hey everyone. Hello streamers and dreamers. Time to get started. We've got our line art of Rose, which I did yesterday, and today we're just going to be coloring it. This is part of the process, is kind of simple and a little bit therapeutic. I was just looking at her today. I think I didn't modify much off camera. Damn. Let's see. A little bit of echo. There's always something. The only thing I think I really did off camera was futz with this foot and add a belly button. So now it's just coloring. And I'm just going to use this as my color model right here, because that's the reference he gave me. Or they. I'm not sure. Let's see. I'm going to flatten all the line art and just get started. I caught up on Steven Universe. That was a real, just, yeah, pretty good. I saw, I think my favorite episode was the one with the log date one. Okay, I'm gonna make a separate layer and then put all the colors on that. Now it may seem a little bit darker because, I don't know. Huh. Let's just try a little bit of a lighter color on that. Lighten that up just a teeny tiny bit. There we go. Yeah, I think my favorite episode of all the new ones is Log Date. Yukon! You have to admire Peridot's candor. I think that's the word I would describe it for it. Let's see. Yeah, that's the layer. Let's just name that layer. Colors. So we gotta know what we're doing. I think Log Date would have to be my favorite one in terms of just short, in terms of character episodes. In terms of action episodes, I would have to say the one where it's kind of cheating, but, you know, the format of those episodes are in half. So I would say it's the one where Jasper and Peridot first show up. I like that whole exchange they had there when they come down and start a fight. In fact, I think that would have to be my favorite episode. A lot in that, a lot of character work with the reveal of Garnet being Ruby and Sapphire. The song was great. I think that's just an overall really just really in there. Come on, don't do this to me. I was going to say that really shows all the strengths of the Steven Universe. Oh boy, the whole gang's here. Hey, Pyramid. Let's see. I was going to say that the episodes leading up to Log Date, I don't know. It's just that I sort of liked the Moon episode. I thought it may have been a little bit, I don't know, I thought that song was obnoxious. In terms of setting up everything, and I like the Moon itself. Was I doing that on the layer? No, I wasn't. Oh, it's just this one. Yeah. Caused an extra layer right there. Doo-doo-doo. But I think log date, it's a really interesting format the way log date was introduced because it fills out the. I was gonna say leading up to it, the part where Peridot contacts the Yellow Diamond, it's essentially her boss, and tries to convince her to. Well, actually, I didn't even know that she was trying to convince her to stop the cluster. I'd figured. I don't know. I was actually surprised when yeah, they're all one color. I was surprised when she was offered a ride to get off the planet. She said, no, Earth is worth saving. Because I could have sworn that's where she was going, like she was going on full betrayal, but actually she was just, I don't know, thought that she could actually convince Yellow Diamond to not destroy the Earth. And I like that. It came a little out of left field until you watch Log Date, and it explains of her development outside of the outside the camera view, that she was starting to, I can't tell if that's like a purple or a dark brown. It's the same color as this, so I'm gonna just use purple. Oh wait, I can always use my references. It's more like a purple. I mean, more like a purplish brown. I'm gonna bring this into Saya and get. Yeah, it's definitely a brown. So. I originally wasn't gonna do this tonight, but then I got a bunch of messages asking me, well, when are you gonna do? When's the Artcast tonight? And I was like, oh, well, I guess if people are really liking it, I might as well do it. But getting back to that just explains if I'm a little bit tired or slow or unfocused, but. Getting back to Steven Universe, I was going to say, yeah, after you watch Log Date, it makes the previous episode kind of make a lot of sense in terms of her character development, how the change that she went through. Without it, I was thinking like, oh man, this is a real heel turn for no reason, but yeah. And it was pretty good. I mean, they obviously set it up that way. And of course, you gotta love the fact that Peridot was experiencing Earth culture and setting up her own pairings. Based on one episode, which I guess is what happens. I mean, I won't I won't lie. I mean, I saw a little bit of that in myself, especially with the sort of interest that's swole up around Dipper and Pacifica, I would have to say. That was one episode, and then a lot of material came out of it. Material that the creator obviously didn't want to pursue or didn't have time. Well, I guess he obviously didn't want to because he's kind of shutting it down. But yeah, hit a little close to home. There's a gap right here. I saw another one over here. There we go. Yeah, this will. I should probably. Now this is kind of like an off-white almond. Is it supposed to be? Maybe a little bit pinkish there. But I like how it also related to her understanding why. That's a little too. There we go. Yeah, that'll be fine. Understanding Garnet as a person, as a character, and of course I like the part where she tries to see if Greg can fly. See what color? That's blue. Her little pendant thing's blue. But yeah, I like I said, I was kind of turned off by the moon episode, the song, and all that. I mean, once they got to the moon, I thought it was pretty cool. And I like it how it explained that the gems are sort of a life form that immediately adjust to their gravity of any planet. But what Paradox said was weird. She said that they were designed that way because they were meant to colonize different planets. I was like, were the gems actually designed that way, or was that something that evolved over time? Because it would make sense if that was something built in, but I don't know. I was just thinking, yeah, they are designed to be weapons. Oh, did I just do that on the wrong layer? Nope. Did good. Oh, that pops up every once in a while because I'm moving too fast. I was just looking at the thing for questions. That's done. Hair. I need to do her hair. Boy. I was just thinking about, there was this show, and then there was another show called Juniper Lee. And I remember I used to have a friend, well, I still do, but I just don't talk to him that much. I used to have a friend who was kind of upset that Juniper Lee may have been copying this show. Which was interesting because I actually saw Juniper Lee first, and I kind of like the art style of that show a little better. Blue eyes. Come on, where? Oh, nope. Go on. Stop. Boom. There we go. Yeah, Life and Time of Juniper Lee. Again, I could see how they were really similar, but I don't know. I just kind of like the art style of that show better. I will say there was a time where I did get into Jake Long. There was a few episodes. I was especially interested in Jake Long's teacher, the played by Paul Rudd. The Freakazoid, Mr. Director on Animaniacs, Lord Starchbottom on 7D. Very distinctive voice. There was a few episodes with him. He was this crazy teacher who theorized or had his own theories about mythical creatures and was always obsessed with getting his hands on them, much in the vein of Mr. Crocker from Fairly Odd Parents. Just gonna get the color from that. That's the reference I was given. Boom. that's good. Let's pick up background color. What background color would be good? Pop against most. Well, first of all, let's see what we can do with the coloring itself. I think it's a little bit drab. Let's see if we can bump up the saturation and maybe the light a little bit. And I know it's affected by the line art. The colors that you put next to each other really affected, and it's kind of it's given this cool tinge because of the blue line art, and we'll solve that problem right away with this. Let's see, I want to do that. A little bit. Yeah, there we go. Let's see if this works. Okay, here's a trick. You see this over here in the corner? I selected the line layer and I just hit Preserve Occupy. And whenever I hit Preserve Occupy, it just only selects the line. It'll only, anything that's on the layer, it'll only do the layer. It will never hit any empty space. See? Now, if you hit Preserve Occupy off, it just does. It'll draw everything. So this is a great way to kind of do colored lines and not have to worry about. It used to be in Photoshop that I do this, but when you do this, you'll watch here. You'll get some bleeding, and it's not very attractive. See that jaggedness right there? As opposed to where you just put on preserve. Yeah, nice and smooth and beautiful. And this is the part that's a little bit tedious, but like I said, if you're doing this on your own, it's very therapeutic because you're just kind of going over everything that should be blonde. And as soon as we put in change the color of all this blue, it'll start to be a more natural color. You don't need to worry about I'm not worried about worrying, like if I did that I wouldn't really worry about it because that layer's over this one. Actually, I would just do this. But you don't need to worry because you can always go over it a little bit, get down deep in the crevices. See? Like I did that, I just blended over a little bit. Well, I'll just take this shadow, because that's our darkest color on the shirt so far. Adjust it. Just a little more. And again, I don't really need to worry about this because I can always go in later and adjust this layer. Turn the saturation on or turn it higher. Make it lighter, make it darker. You know, you always want your line art, your flat colors, and then your shading on 3 separate layers. That way you can dial it up and down as you go. And sometimes it helps just to break and just wait. I've been doing that with I've been doing that without the preserve on. Jeez. Wait, I'm not even looking at everything, but the thing's freaking out. Let's see. I hate the art style change. Yeah, it was. I see someone brought up Time Squad, and I'll talk about that later. Let's see. Yeah, the art style change, that was a bit weird, isn't it? I don't exactly know why. A new art director, a new studio? I don't know exactly what happened. I'm sure maybe Wikipedia will come up with And you don't even need to have the layer selected. It'll just do it on its own. Um, yeah. Yeah, I just did all that hair. But you know what? With lighter colors, it really isn't a problem unless you zoom in really deep. So I think that'll be okay. As long as I got to it, as long as I realized it before I started working on the pants, because the pants are kind of a deeper color. Anyway. Yeah, I don't know what's with the art change. I don't know. Maybe look up Wikipedia or something. I'm sure there's something on some sort of fan site that explains that what was going on. Maybe it was just a simpler art style. Sorry, just stretching. What did I think of Time Squad? I thought it was pretty good. I liked it. I thought it was real interesting. Let's see, I forget the art style. I remember seeing the art style earlier in a bunch of Nickelodeon shorts. The Cartoon Institute or something like that. What the hell? Oh, yeah. It was a bunch of, it was Fairy Godmother, Fairy Goose Mother, and it was kind of like Fractured Fairy Tales. But it was supposed to be, one of those pitches to Nickelodeon. Let's see. Yeah, Limo and Stitch. People have been talking about the crossovers, the crossover. For those who don't know, Limo and Stitch has had crossovers with a bunch of different, not Cartoon Network, Disney properties. I'll have to do an episode about that later. I'll also do an episode about how Lilo and Stitch had a crossover with itself, because the third season was this Japanese series which featured a grown-up version of Lilo, whatever. That's gonna have to be a darker color. Kind of a reunion episode. Grandma's fine. She's doing good. She used her rice cooker that she got for Christmas and she really liked it. Said everything turned out great. Yeah, it had its own anime. There we go. These will be brown. Browner. Too dark. Actually, that should be purple because it's a loop over the brown. Did you see the Venture Brothers is going to have a 6th season? Yeah, I know that. They're like going to New York, I guess. I saw Gargantua 2. I think that's probably my favorite Um, favorite, I guess it's kind of like a movie, but I think that's my favorite bits of it, including the Monarch realizing that the Phantom Limb was, well, really should put spoilers on these things. But yeah, I saw that. I think it was great. Oh, that's one thing. I was thinking about Peridot watching the show again. I like how sort of obvious they made it seem to be like the show is taking place in Canada. You know, with the flag and the poutine and let's see. Have I seen BoJack? Yes, I have. I have seen BoJack. I think it's pretty good. I think season two may have just gone a little bit overboard with trying to, uh, in terms of BoJack and his character. See, that's gonna just this blends in, but that's okay. That because the shading's gonna get that. It's like I thought he was kind of in an upward beat. When I was doing that one drawing a day challenge, uh, that what the monkey jogger said to BoJack really kind of resonated in my head. And he says, "Yeah, it gets easier, but you have to do it every day." And that seemed really true to me. Let's see. Oh, damn it. Oh, I've got it on race. In wrong layer now. There we go. Very nice. Very nice. It's coming together. Let's do the shoes. Are you familiar with Bob and Dave? They're basically reunited, Bob Odenkirk and Dave Cross, for a new sketch comedy show on Netflix. No, I haven't. In fact, I'm Bob Odenkirk. Where have I heard that name before? I know Dave Cross. I'm not real too familiar with their work. I mean, I'm familiar with their work. I've enjoyed certain parts of it, but I don't know. Just I kind of let it rest where it lays. I know Mr. Show. I think Mr. Show was with David Cross. There's this weird little splinter line right there, so I'm gonna turn the preserve occupy off a little bit. Put that back on. Peridot doesn't seem like she'd be rushed to interact with humans. Okay, well, something did happen with log date that did verify one suspicion I had, and that was I asked do gems know that they can transform, and I guess apparently she does, or at least Peridot does, because she saw Amethyst do it. So, and it makes me a little this is one part of that episode that bugs me, is that she tried to, in spoilers, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, that she tried fusion before she tried shapeshifting. It was just a little weird to me. Because you figure that would be the first... I mean, she tries on a pair of underwear first. You know, just because she finds them. You figured she'd try shapeshifting, because shapeshifting wouldn't be that bad. Compared to fusion. Do-do-do. Oh, I'm just doing a little stretching, guys. You muted me? Why did you mute me, Mr. Dude? And I've been talking that much. Oh well. Let's see. Let's pick out a good color for her skin. And a little darker. Yeah, there we go. A little bit over on the saturation side. Yeah, that's good. Oh, okay, you muted me when the spoilers. Okay, yeah, it's over. It's like I gotta watch out. Sometimes my candor. That's the word of the night, candor. I don't need that, I need... Wrong color. Come on. What are your thoughts on The Big Bang Theory? I barely ever watched the episode. I think I got like I caught a couple reruns once on, I don't know, whatever channel it was re-airing. Whatever deal they had to re-air it. I like that it was a bit of a Roseanne reunion between two characters. I think they were on Roseanne. I'm not sure. One of the daughters, you know, the kind of curly-haired daughter from Roseanne, showed up, and I think that's one of the kids. I don't know. I don't pay attention. What was that? What's that catchphrase? Bazoinker or something? Bazap? I saw people trying to make that a thing. The only thing I really pay attention about or the only time I think it ever came up was on an episode of the Cleveland Show where they went to Comic-Con and everyone was pissed that all the Comic-Con was taken over by sitcoms and not actual sci-fi properties. Let's see, what color should we get this done? Two. Yeah, that'll work out fine. Because this will be a darker color. It's a little weird. She's got the mask from her ninja outfit over her regular clothes, which are kind of two different things, but I mean two different color tones. Like I said, that doesn't matter. You can always go in and play with it. Play with these little shades of color. It's a bit tedious, but like I said, it's sometimes very therapeutic. I bet there's a faster way to do it, but man, I haven't figured out a way. I haven't figured that out, and I haven't seen it on tutorials, so oh my god, I love Orphan Black. Oh yeah, Orphan Black. I think that's the British show about the clones, and they're all clones of the same person. Also, that other thing, that thing I see on Tumblr a lot is an anime about 7 brothers, I think. They're all look the same, but they've all got different personalities. And that's kind of based on an old show. I hear the revival is really self-aware and funny. That looks a little off. Yeah, it's almost like it has a bend to it. So let's just turn it off and then fix it, shall we? Kind of erase some stuff. There we go. Turn it back on. Again, sometimes you have trouble with the line art, like with stuff like this. And sometimes it's best not to color your lines at all, but I just think it's kind of adds a little special touch. And I do it for simple commissions like this. Let's see, what bugs me about pearls? They are called gems, but don't blankety blank rocks. It's a clam version of snot. Well, it's a mineral, I guess. And you're right, that doesn't make sense. You're right, because pearls are organic. They're basically clam kidney stones. And I'm almost certain that's not the proper in terms of humans versus clams, but I know humans produce kidney stones sometimes. I don't know why, but that joke from Duckman just popped into my head, where he has to give a urine sample, and he goes in the back room and he starts screaming and just he convulses in pain, and then he walks out and he plops, I guess, a rock that is his urine sample, and the doctor, played by Ben Stein, he comes up and he grabs it and he goes, "Ow!" He's like, "Huh, I've never cut myself on a urine sample before." Of course, he did it in his patented deadpan Ben Stein delivery. Oh shit, CO just responded to my rant. Today is a good day. Yes it is. Yes it is. It stopped raining and my roof has stopped leaking. Wait, how are pearls? How exactly are pearls part of a defense mechanism? I thought it was like, because if they're making a bullet, they're taking their sweet time about it. I thought it was just collecting all their waste that they swallow, and then they spit it out. That's weird. Why is that line so much more? Just wait, I gotta check my colors here. No, they're the same. Weird. Huh, it's just the colors. Okay, and now we gotta go and do this. I find that there, we'll go a little, slightly less than black. I remember the producers of Batman and Superman the Animated Series. They said you shouldn't be afraid to use black, but sometimes it's just a little bit overpowering when you want to do other line art. So I always go for a little bit of an off black when I can. Like I said, doesn't matter if we have a little bit of bleed in, we can just go over. Try to get as close down to it as we can. Let's see, just a passing remark, especially to no coming a grain of sand to produce a salt. Parasites create pearls too. Thoughts on Megas XLR? I actually really enjoyed that show. It was interesting. I just found out recently that they had a show on MTV, and it was about like teenagers and stuff like that. It wasn't nearly as interesting, but it had almost verbatim the same kind of character. This guy who wore a big leather jacket. They just basically took the leather jacket off of him, put a hat on him, and then he's the junkyard guy. I think there's this sort of period of Cartoon Network called Cartoon Network Town. It's when it's marked by this sort of the promos they had, and instead of the weird kind of weird I don't know, like digital block work that promos that they have now, there used to be like they used to show Cartoon Network as a city, which I actually liked. And before that, they showed Cartoon Network as some kind of as a kind of business, like an office building. I like that too. I like it when they went the extra mile and showed cartoon, companies as a place. Like, I would think it would be real neat if they went and made Nickelodeon as a studio, and kind of had all the characters run around their back lot some more. They did that with Animaniacs, and that really kind of cemented that. I don't know. It just makes it a little bit more of a real place, I think. I remember Blue coming up to Laszlo and saying, "Hey, Laszlo, what you doing?" And Laszlo, he gives him this out of nowhere glare, and he says, "Oh, you really want to know?" And he's like, no." And he says, "Well, we got beakers for nerds." There was this huge song about it. I actually have a DVD of that. I had a subscription to something, and I forget what, but it came with a DVD a sampler DVD of all these different Cartoon Network shows they had on. They had like episodes and half episodes of Foster's Home. They had the Red episode of Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. They had the Beans episode of Pine Cones episode of Camp Laszlo, the one where they all took a challenge to sit on pine cones the longest. I don't care what people say. I like Camp Lazlo. But anyway, then they had like Puffy Yami on there. And I imagine it was something to try and get your parents to subscribe to cable. And even if your parents do that, now they have to subscribe to more cable in order to get like things like Disney XD and crap like that. What a jip. It's like, only on the Disney Channel. It's like, Daddy, can we have the Disney Channel? Yeah, okay. It's like, only on Disney XD. Son of a bitch. And her eyes don't really have much of a... They do have a slight outline. And that's what we're going to give her. What the hell's going on? Oh. Huh, that's weird. Why is it not... Oh, I have it locked. Or no, that's not how that works. Huh, weird. It's already too close to the color, but it's not the exact color. There we go. That was weird. Yeah, maybe just a little bit darker. Yeah, like that. Yeah, gym partner was not my cup of tea. But yeah, there was... I think my favorite episode of Gym Partner was the doorknob episode. One where I forget what, but they're just, it's all the animals are obsessed with shiny objects, and Jake gets a hold of a bunch of doorknobs, and he becomes the kind of leader. But anyway, yeah, I've got a DVD. It's information with the Cartoon Network thing. I have a DVD with that, and it came with all the preview episodes, and it came with all the promos. It's like, that's amazing. It's like all the bumpers, all the, the part where Professor Utonium locks his keys out of his door, the one where Samurai Jack is doing his laundry with Johnny Bravo. I even think Johnny Bravo was airing at the time. There was just a sense that they were kind of reaching back a little further. They also had the promo where all the characters were in the movie theater. I think that was the last one. They kind of made it into a little mini movie where the opening was flying around, or the opening was the song, and then they would show, those different tunes interacting with each other between the shots of going around the city, Yeah, I really did like that incarnation of Cartoon Network, those promos. Let's save. So Chad, how have you been? Oh wait, just wait. Someone was asking me a question. Any thoughts on Megas XLR? I already kind of put that. I was just talking about that just now. Here, let me go down. Yeah, the design for Gym Partner was just, I don't know, really out there. It was a lot of busy work with some of the lines. Oh, just wait, I gotta do this one little blue. Ah, damn it. I did that thing again, where after you save, the stabilizer goes out, so we got to save it, and I gotta quit out of everything. I loved Kids Next Door. I think that was I think that was a really creative, really touching show. I don't know if I want to see the Galactic Kids Next Door. In fact, I think the whole part of leading up to that, I think it was probably the weakest part of everything. The way they kind of tricked number one into doing that, I don't like that. I think it was good that it stopped and ended where it ended. Okay, so let's see. Next, what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually create a folder. And this is a little kind of different kind of layer. You can just put layers into it and then seal it up. And in fact, you can put multiple layers. Let's see. Let me just demonstrate. Okay, let's see. I have this line here, and I have this line here. And as you can see, if I grab this thing, I can move these separate layers. Wait, no, separately. Oh, do I have that? No, just wait. There. I can move all these layers separately. Yes, even the color layer. Or I can fold up the folder, select it, and then move them all together. It's kind of a way of binding them. But more importantly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one layer here. I'm going to select a kind of shading color, which maybe will be around here. Put it on multiply, or not multiply, yeah. And then that will probably, no, that won't be a good shading. I need to find a good shading color that's not pink. Still a little too strong. Yeah, you see, this is on, oh wait, no, I did that wrong. Okay, set the folder to multiply. Set this to normal. There we go. And then lower this. So that way it makes the shading. And then this way, whenever I want to add another layer, I just do it within the folder. And it doesn't... See, normally when you do that, when I add another line to... when you try to add... Oh, here, let me just show you. Outside of the layer, outside of the thing, thank you. Damn it, I don't want to do that. Okay, boom. Okay, let's say I do that. Let's say I set a layer on multiply, and I do this. And then I want to do that, I want to do another line, and it's just easier to do it this way. Let's get into it, shall we? Probably didn't explain that very well, but I'm kind of tired. We may run into the problem soon enough. But let's just get into it, shall we? And what I like to do is I like to just make a line like that. See, it's just one straight line. And then I can go up to the line art layer and select a line art. Oh, by the way, I'm tapping Alt and A. I have a shortcut set up that when I tap Alt and A, it expands the line a little bit. So it kind of bleeds over the back line so I can get in every nook and cranny. And then I go back to this. And for some reason, that's not doing it. What's going on with this? Huh. Oh, I was selecting the wrong one. There you go. If you go to line art selected, go back to your other lines, it'll just select this side of the line art. That's just a good way to draw the shading line you want and then go back in and just be able to finish that off and then clean that up this way. Are you not? Oh. Okay. Yep. There we go. Here we go. Yeah, there's a delay. Sorry, guys. Okay. Better? Better. Okay, what I was saying was, I gotta keep that up so I can look at it. I don't need the, well, I still need the things, but I'll try and make sure. That's a little too light. There we go. That's a slightly better. I'll have to play with the shading. What I was saying is that if you draw on this layer here, just where you want the shading to be, you go back up to your line art, select all the areas you want it in, expand a little bit, go back to this the shade layer, and you can just paint it in, and you don't have to worry about. You only need to go over a little bit in certain areas. And of course, cleanup is always part of the deal. There we go. Yeah, that's nice. Nice and detailed. Well, actually, this one should be a little bit more. We should have kind of a little bit of shading there, a little bit of an opening. Yeah, why not? Okay. See, that way I select I basically make the shape of the shade. I just go in and there it is. It's done. I don't need to fuss with anything. It's pretty much what cell animation is. And of course, it doesn't need to be cell. If I go down here and pick, let's see, where is it? Where's my blur? Okay, if I pick blur, I can make it a nice soft edge and blend it in. Yeah, there you go. And then yeah, that seems more like but I like the hard edge kind of style, cell shading kind of style. But yeah, and then you can start with, basically when I learned how to draw, they said you start with 3 layers. You have 3 layers of darkness, 3 layers of light. Or no, was it 1 base and then 2 shades of dark, and then I don't know, whatever. Oh. You see, that's what happens when you don't close the gap in all these. And sometimes it's just easier just to draw it in. But with bigger shapes like this hair, it is easier just to go through and pick the shape of your shade. And sometimes it matches this because it matches the curvature of whatever line you want. I want this to sort of get this little rim of light and this to be in the shadow. And then the rest of this, I don't know, maybe I'll put in a line like a little bit of the lights getting through. Go back up to this. Yeah, there we go. In some areas you can just shade in all the way because the light won't be hitting them. Now this is one technique that I used to do a lot when I was in Photoshop, and that's select the whole area, make the brush big, and then go over it. But that's I just think that's a little bit sloppy because then you gotta go over it and go over it again. And in this case, you just use one line. And if you mess up, you just have to erase that one line. You don't have to kind of get the shading. You can even go and do like little multiple dashes. So it kind of, but I want to keep it all clean right now. See, and that follows all the way in to this, and then there's one knuckle, two knuckle, three knuckle, four. And then the thumb, and the palm. It's got kind of this long shade. We'll make the palm kind of shade all of that right there. Maybe, yeah, because her chest is going to be in that over there, so. I think there are certain characters people need to stop obsessing over, like the best characters ever. This reminds me, see, have you ever watched Rebel Taxi? Yeah, I've watched him a couple times. He's good. I think we met over on back when Spill.com was a thing. He approached me and said he liked my work. And I like his work sometimes. I mean, yeah, he's great. And once you have big bodies of shades and you want to sort of connect the dots, you can. Ooh. Mission Hill was another short-lived great series. Yes, I actually really did love Mission Hill. I thought it was a fantastic little series. Was it based on a comic strip? I don't know. You know what? There. We'll just have that be kind of her arm being the shade like that. Yeah, her body is kind of blocking the light. Okay. let's see. How should that work? Yeah, that'll do fine. Like I said, I may need to go in and adjust the oh well, actually that looks pretty good. I just had to reposition myself. It kind of looked like it was blending into the color a little bit too much. The colors were blending in. Let's see. I could do this and this and this. There we go. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Shakalaka, laka, laka. Again, I'm sorry I'm not that animated. I'm just a little bit tired. I've been drawing some other stuff today. And then I was thinking, well, I'll take... I'm really excited that some of you are really into this. This is just a good way for me to just be out there a little bit more and still do what I'm going to do anyway for the day. Batrider, plot armor, introduced to Viacom. I love... Too bad the Boondocks never got a 4th season. Did they not get a Boondocks 4th? Did they not get a 4th season? Did they ever get that movie, that Uncle Ruckus movie? Does that look cool? I love that character actor. I even saw his work on Blue Collar TV. I think he was great on that. Yes, I even followed him onto Blue Collar TV. The short-lived, was it short-lived? I think it got like 2 seasons. Show by, the Blue Collar Comedy Tour people. Which I don't mind one half of the Blue Collar Comedy Tour. I think I like the guy who's always drinking scotch, and I like the short guy. Jeff Foxworthy, I can take or leave. I think some of his earlier stuff was good. Then he got kind of bogged down by the if you might be a redneck shtick. I don't know. I never hated Larry the Cable Guy in terms of thinking he was as obnoxious as everyone else. I think he was just kind of got way too popular way too fast with a certain demographic, and that cheesed off other people. Someone was just talking about Squidbillies, and I was reminded of that joke. They had a Larry the Cable Guy analog show up. He's like, "Oh, I dropped my vice grips," and he'd show his butt. And then, of course, the sheriff said, Sheriff, he said, "I love his observations about things that don't really happen down here." And that's kind of how that's the summary of Larry the Cable Guy I like to think of. It's like, yeah, he's a goofball, and he's a character, but he's not really a staple for all of the South. Yes, blue collar is middle class. It describes, you got blue collar, and then the work shirts, and then white collar, which kind of describes businessmen. You can be middle class and white collar. this color is blending in too much. And what I'm going to have to do, and this is another little trick I'll show you guys in just a second. Let me just get this down where I need it to be. And you know what? I'm going to work on the other shoe real quick because it would probably be better if I did them both at the same time. Let me just get rid of this. Let's see. Where's the shade going to be? Or, But yeah, like I was saying, Ron White, that's the guy's name. I like Ron White. I think he's pretty funny. I like his delivery. Let's see. Okay, here's a little thing. If you ever have a problem with your line art or the shading, you can always just go back and adjust it by selecting on the regions. Don't need that. You know, expanding a little bit. Going back to your shade layer and just adjusting it accordingly. Well, actually, it helps if that blue is out of the way. There we go. Hue. Now we're going to have to go a little bit darker. There we go. That way the lines it doesn't all blend together. Although we will have to do something about the line. That really doesn't help. Let's go back. Let's go to our line layer and play with that a little bit. Maybe a little bit of a darker saturation. Not saturation, maybe just a little bit darker in general. I don't know. Yeah, I think that, let's go back and forth a little bit. Yeah, I think that definitely defined it more. It doesn't look so light and pale. I think that's good for what we need right now. Atomic Punk, Gay Gun, Goth. What? What's your biggest challenge as an artist and why? I don't know. I just do what I do, and if I have a problem with it, I just kind of stick to it. CR wrote a Fairly Odd Parents fanfic on his DeviantArt. Yes, it did. Yes, I did. Yeah, I did. I was just bored, and I wanted to try something. You know, but I'm not digging. Yeah, I guess the mask is fine. It'll look all fine when we get it done. But anyway, that's a way of adjusting. The only problem is now that I've selected a different color. Oh wait, no, I haven't selected a different color. I'm just on the wrong layer. You always got to make sure to have the right color. That's why I'm going to go over here and set this. You can go over and set any kind of color you want and get back to it. In fact, you can do this thing where you go here, you paint that, and I can even choose this purple and paint that and then choose the color in between. It's a color slider for so you can adjust. This is how you get your shading scale. You can pick the color in between, and this will be your lighter shades and this will be your darker shades. What is the worst animated thing I've ever seen on TV? Well, I guess that would have to be Hammerman. Because even Johnny Test was, well, I don't know. That might be in the running, but even then, the models, at least they told a kind of decent story within their time frame. I remember Hammerman being like And I knew about Hammerman before the critic brought it up. And I remember it being really, really weird because, yes, they did repeat a bunch of stuff all the time. And, yes, the animation was really wonky. He condensed it. I remember some episodes being okay in certain parts. He picked, as he often does, he picked the worst examples and kind of presented that as the staple for all the shows. But yeah, those animation flubs would pop up quite often. It reminds me, I remember watching Hammerman, and there was the Little Shop of Horrors animated series, which was totally bizarre. It was weird. Audrey was a little girl. Of course, they were all younger. Um, but Audrey was this little girl, and she was obsessed with fire hoses, which I don't know if that was meant to be like, not fire hoses, being a fireman. She wanted to be a fireman, which I don't know if that's tragic because, well, actually they weren't connected to each other. But I was gonna say if they were, that would be kind of tragic that she turned out to be uh, kind of a little. I suppose we would call her a gutter snipe. I know she didn't do anything you know, in terms, yeah. What am I trying to say here? I know she didn't like whore herself out or anything. She was very studious to someone who actually was very mean to her. But I just think that would be sad to assume those two characters, one would turn into the other. Let's see. There was the dentist character from Little Shop turned out to be a bully, and he had braces, and that was it. That's the only kind of connection you can make between the two. I'm gonna try and I'm gonna add this little bit of tough, this kind of extra layer of. Yeah, I like that. In fact, I'm gonna do that with the rest of the hair. This is a little spontaneous. Uh, There. Very good. I got that. I need to finish this. I need to finish the leg. Oh, you guys want to hear the big secret behind the Christmas tree? And I just figured it out this year. It was this epiphany that I had about it. In fact, maybe I should save that for a video. In fact, I'll do that. I'll save that for a video. That'll be a tease. Never mind what I just said. It's going to be a video. But there's this huge epiphany I came across when thinking about the Christmas tree again. That really crappy Christmas special. Little shop, little shop, little shop, little shop, little. I remember that. I think that was animated by. I forget what studio that was animated by, but I kind of liked the animation that the intro had, which of course was not constant throughout the whole series. I'm gonna thin out the shade on this real quick. Who else hates Ned Newt? Am I the only one? Uh, yeah, Yeah, I like Ned's Newt. I was one of the few that did. I think now you see, I think Ned's Newt was I'm trying to think. I think I like Ned's Newt because there's this French animation studio called uh, X I XILAM. They do some great work. They do a show called Zig and Sharko, which is kind of like classic Tom and Jerry. Tom and Jerry stick. You don't need to understand it in order to get the joke. It's about this hyena who's stuck on an island, and there's this mermaid called Marina, and he's starving and he wants to eat her, but this shark, her pet slash boyfriend, I guess, is always protects her, and he comes up with all these crazy schemes. It's very much like Wile E. Coyote and just real classic comedy, and it's great, really well animated. But I think the same studio also did a bunch of Lucky Luke cartoons. Um, I know they did the Daltons, and they also did the show called A Kind of Magic. So the point is that yeah, Ned's Newt may be the weaker of their catalog, but I really do enjoy it. Hmm. Did we get done? I think we're done. Well, no, not done, but I think we've got all of our areas covered. What I need to do now is go in here and in here. Well, yeah. I need to. I was choking on my spit a little bit. I need to highlight this and change the color. And yeah, I love Nelvana Studios. Their classic stuff. Like their animated specials that they used to have on their Intergalactic Thanksgiving, or Please Don't Eat the Planet, Romeo and Juliet. Oh, it'd be better if I just got rid of that. Get rid of the blue. Yeah. Yeah, that's much better. Yeah, Augie and the Cockroaches, they're the same people. They showed up a lot on Fox Kids. Fox Kids... just wait a second. I screwed up. I gotta put this layer on normal. And I've got to, let's see, 47. Gotta remember that. Set that back to 47. Multiply. Yeah, this is what it looks like when the multiplier... where'd it go? There we go. Here. This is what it looks like when the multiplier is not on. And this is what it looks like when it does. Nice and shaded. In fact, I'm going to go over the mask and do that. But first I wanted to fix this up a little bit. Kind of shape it up. I didn't really like Augie and the Cockroaches. But like I was saying, Fox Kids, they had a bunch of stuff that was actually from overseas. I don't think any of it was actually made. I think the only things that were made in the US of A were, or at least produced here. I know that they send it overseas to studios, but I think a lot of their stuff on WB Kids or like Warner Brothers made them stuff like Tiny Toons and Animaniacs, like the first couple seasons, and then they moved that all to actual the WB. Sounds like something made by Trauma. Did I ever see Toxic Crusaders? Yeah, I saw Toxic Crusaders. I think it was one of the weirdest things I've ever seen. I remember going in a Big Lots, which was called McFrugal's back then, which actually is a great name for a character. If that's not being if that store's not, if they're not using that name anymore, McFrugal is a great name for like a long lost Scrooge McDuck character. McFrugal. But anyway, Big Lots was called McFrugal's, and I remember going in and seeing a bunch of. Toxic Crusader coloring books and action figures, and a bunch of oh man, what was? Let me think about it. Let me think of the theme song. Another dimension, another time and space. A parallel universe is falling on its face. Bucky O'Hare. There we go. Yeah, I remember seeing a bunch of Bucky O'Hare coloring books and action figures there. Great theme song, and I think Bucky O'Hare was originally based on a comic book. There was a lot of stuff that they tried to turn into kids shows that probably shouldn't have been. Like Rambo, World Warrior, or something like that. I don't know. Maybe if I just put a little bit of a line here. How would that look? Yay or nay? I kind of like it. Yeah, it went too far. I'm gonna go with it. Just one little strip across. There. Okay, let's see. Yeah, I think that's good for the shading. Now let's try and pick out a good background color. Oh yeah, that's right. I deleted all of them. I want maybe something along the lines of this blue. Let me go here, create a new background. Oh yeah, that's another thing. I forgot to do the whites of her eye. Whenever you do the whites of the eye of a character, you can always just pop a layer behind their colors and bring it in. It's not a big deal. And then you just lower the color layer right on top of it, and it's all hooked together now. Now here's the one thing that's kind of messed up about Seiya, and that's that it doesn't have a gradient tool or anything like that. And even then, when I'm working at this size, the biggest that the brush will get is this. What layer am I working on? Yeah. So if I wanted to do something like this, or no, you know, it just doesn't work out right. Let's see. And actually, her feet are like a little bit like this. Her body shading is going to be over here a little bit. In fact, we can probably... There we go, that looks good. Something like that. Oh god, Biker Mics from Mars. I just remembered that. They just popped in my head. Let's see. How could one make a speedster who doesn't look like a rip-off of the Flash or Quicksilver? I would go with electric. I would go with kind of like a... I don't know, maybe neon? Some sort of... something like that. What is this? What is that rattling noise? Are there... I don't know. Is there a rattling noise still? I might have been shaking the table with my foot. Are there any community plugins for... Say, I assume so. I mean, I haven't looked at any. I mean, I think I've tried looking up a couple once. I tried especially looking up, like, perspective rulers and stuff like that. Now, what I can do is I can... Well, I'll save... Maybe like strips of color, neon. You know, like race cars have. Let's see. Yeah, it's just going to be a drawing of her, but I'm going to try to put in a little interesting background. Let's see. What I could do, now that I saved it, I changed the resolution. Which means I drop it down to about 50%. Which is okay, because when I post it, it won't be this big. This is blown up real huge just so I can get detailed. See, it'll still be that big, which is still pretty big for a commission. And then that's the size of my brush now. And I'll just go into airbrush. And the stabilizer turned off again, but I'm not gonna go. It seems to be doing okay. And we'll just kind of focus in on her a little bit more. Be a little bit more. I don't know about that shadow. Yeah, Seiya is a free program. At least that's what it was advertised to me. Let's see what else we can do. I'm just kind of looking at this and wondering. Just wait, I gotta turn everything off again. But let's save this as Rose 2, since I struck them down. Duck Dodgers is where I learned about Green Lantern. No joke. Hey, there's no shame in that. Tiny Toons is where I learned about Star Wars. Let's see, I saved that. I gotta close everything down again to reopen. Say, a lot of my programs don't like it when you, they get just as nervous as me, broadcasting. And that's what happens, I guess, whenever I have to reopen it and open it up again. It pops, the image has nowhere else to go except for the, let's see, image, Saya, come on, Saya, open, apply, there we go. Rose 2, okay, yeah, let's see what else we can do for this. Maybe just a little bit lighter around some certain areas. Oh, and by the way, this is hotkey. If you hold the crit and the alt, you can dial up and down. If you go this bar, it goes up to 100. If you go outside the bar, it goes up to 500. So yeah, let's just give her a little bit of an outline just to make her pop. I haven't been talking about Rose that much, but I think there's something about her getting amnesia in the last season or something. She's like this really great dragon hunter, and she finds out Jake Long's secret, and then she gets amnesia. It's kind of very soap opera-ish. I think she's got like a twin or something. I don't know. Gonna work out? Yeah, I think this can work fine because I'm gonna go over it in a I'm gonna go over it and blur it a little bit. In fact, there's no reason why I can't do that now. Okay, let's get rid of it. It's pretty much already done. I'm just kind of figuring out ways to make it look a little nicer. In fact, let's go to this and kind of blur this around a bit. Will that work? Does that look good? Or does that not fit the character? Tell you what, let's do that again, but turn the blur down just slightly. Yeah. Actually, you know what? I want the shade to be hard. I want the shade to match her shading on her body. And in fact, I want to go in and just put the shading down a little bit darker for her, because her pants seem a little light. This is kind of the final stage. You're kind of just playing with stuff. Saturation, lightness. I really made her hair pop. I want to do that just a little bit. Yeah, I like that. I hope Sierra does a Marvel character. Yeah, I'm planning a couple Marvel characters. Don't you worry. Let's see if that even looks kind of like what we have here. Yeah, she definitely got more of a golden hair. I like the way that turned out. In fact, let's just do a little bit. No, just wait. Wrong layer. Yeah. Let's go a little bit more. Let's make it a little bit more kind of an aura rather than a outline. And does that look like she's glowing? That looks like she's glowing. Yeah, let's try this. It's just a little bit too much on the bottom. And I can dial it down a little bit. Yeah, I think that's good. Let's see. Let's see if we can tighten that up a little bit, though. The problem is that the foot needs to be there, and it creates kind of a negative space right here. But that's okay, because then it'll be masked by this. Or what I could do is this. See, or I can merge it all and then do this. Yeah, but that's not really, that's kind of, actually, that does look a little better. And then I could just go over this. And then blur it. Yeah, I think that's fine. I think the negative space right here is going to be balanced out by the one here. It looks good. Maybe if I just no, I think we've got our. I think it's going to be as done as it's going to be. I'll probably play with it a little more before I post it and deliver it, but I think that's it for tonight. Oh, let's see if there's any questions up on there for Teen Titans. Yeah, no, I think this is it for tonight, guys. So let's see, replacement hero Walter. Wait, who the bloody hell remembers Walter Mellon? Okay, I gotta talk about Walter Mellon a little bit. Yeah, back when, I guess, what is it called now? Freeform? Now it's called Freeform. It used to be called a bunch of other stuff. Oh wait, just wait. I'm gonna save this as Rose 3, because Rose 2 will still have all the layers, and I'll be able to fix anything that's wrong with it. Let's see, Walter Mellon. My God, I thought I blocked that out of my head. See, Rose 3. Save. Man, they had a whole bunch of weird TV series on, let's see, it's called Freeform now. It was called ABC Family. Now it's Fox Family. Oh, my stabilizer just broke. Oh, well, here. This is not going to be a serious drawing. And they had like a bunch of weird British stuff too. It was like they had Jerry and his friends. And that's weird. I'm gonna have to look up all those stuff now. But until then, I think this is. What do you recommend for Mac users that can't use SEA? I don't know. Get a real computer. No, I'm just joking. But yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know. Now that I'm looking at it, her arm's a little weird, but I'll fix that later. Yeah, I honestly. Stressed Eric. Yeah, I've heard of that before. There's some other programs. There's something called Auto Sketch. I don't know if that's for Mac or not. There's a bunch of other things. Yeah, Three Friends and Jerry. That's the one thing I remember. Hold on to your questions for next time. But to the person who was asking for an alternative, I would go with that. Also try Illustrator. See if you can track down that free version of Illustrator that's floating around. Maybe that would be okay. But anyway, hold on to your questions for next time. I think this is as about as done as it's gonna get. I may doodle with some other stuff on my own time before I put it up and give it for delivery, but other than that, I think it's okay. Anyway, everyone, good night and take care. Bye.